Alright, let's talk about something that should be simple, boring, and completely drama-free. Cancelling your internet. Yet somehow in Australia in 2025, cancelling your NBN service has turned into a financial hostage negotiation. Welcome to the Dirt Report, and today's dirt is in the 30-day cancellation policy that way too many retail service providers are still clinging to like it's 2009. This one is a doozy, so thank you to AcTech for bringing this to my attention, and also Simon from Bury the Facts on TikTok who shared his recent experience. Let's roll the intro and get started. If you have ever tried to cancel your NBN and been told, no worries, but you still have to pay for another 30 days, then congratulations, you have entered the twilight zone of the Australian telco logic. Because here's the part they don't like saying out loud. On NBN, when you move to a new provider, your old provider is not involved at all. You do not need their permission, you do not need their blessing, and you certainly do not need their emotional closure emails. You sign up with a new provider, NBN does the transfer automatically, then your service moves, while your old provider gets disconnected, and therefore billing should stop. This is how the system was designed. There is no truck roll and there is no manual switch flick. In fact, people have told me there is no wizard behind the curtain pulling the levers, to my disappointment, of course. It is literally a database change that takes minutes. Yet somehow a huge list of Australian providers, RSPs, still say, cool story bro, you still owe us a month. Most of them require 30 days notice, some require 14, some 15, and it's just one day too many. And all of them charge you after you are already gone. Now let's be really clear, crystal clear in fact, because some may get confused with the way the NBN is supposed to work. This is not an early termination fee on a contract, this is not a hardware repayment, and it's not a fixed term break fee. This is a charge for time after you have already left. You're paying for a service that you no longer receive. And this is where things start getting legally spicy, because the ACCC is very clear on this. It is against the law for businesses to take payment for products or services when they know they will not be able to supply them. Not might not probably not. No, they won't. If your NBN service has already been transferred away, you physically cannot receive service from your previous provider anymore. There is no service. There's nothing to supply, yet the bills keep rolling in for at least the 30-day period. Now, let me tell you why this is even more cooked from a wholesale level. When NBN Co disconnects a service, the wholesale provider stops being billed that same day. NBN stops billing the RSP. There is no grace period, there's no 30-day buffer, there is no sympathy invoice. The wholesale cost stops immediately. So when your RSP keeps charging you for another month after you leave, what they're really saying is, we are no longer paying NBN for your connection, but we're still charging you a retail price anyway. Which means they are collecting pure margin on a service that does not exist. This is not cost recovery, certainly not administration fees, nor operation overhead. Wizards don't charge muggle money. This is profit. But wait, there is more. Here's where it gets even funnier. Simon from Bury the Facts on TikTok, links below of course, had emailed Superloop about this concerning practice. They responded saying the 30-day charge helps them offer competitive pricing to everyone else. So just to translate that into human language, people who leave are accidentally subsidizing people who stay. You could say this is reverse hostage economics. They also claim the policy exists so they can engage with customers and try to fix issues. Cool, except it doesn't work that way because by the time you cancel, the service is already gone. You're already plugged into someone else, so there's nothing left to save. It's like trying to win back your ex after they have moved in with someone else and changed their locks. But that would be speculation, of course. So let's talk real money. Let's say you're on the fast plan, the 750 megabit tier. The wholesale cost is roughly $60 a month, putting the retail price at around $99 a month, meaning the provider normally makes about $30 to $35 in margin per month on when you are connected. But the moment you leave and they keep charging you for that extra month, their cost goes to a big fat zero. Zero wholesale charge, zero service delivery, that $99 becomes almost pure profit. Multiply that by thousands of customers per month, that's not a rounding error. And the worst part is how normalized it has become. People think it's just how it works because well, back in broadband days, maybe you did. It's in the terms and conditions too. Cool. Just because something is written in a contract does not magically make it reasonable. Australian consumer law still applies, and under that law, contract terms cannot be unfair, unnecessary, or massively skewed against the consumer, which means charging someone for a service you already stopped supplying is very hard to defend as reasonable, especially when the infrastructure provider itself stops charging you immediately. Now, let's address the argument I've seen posted online also. But Pat, they need time to process the cancellation. No, they don't. The system is automated, purely a database flag, and it's done by NBN, not the RSP. There is no army of interns manually unplugging fibers, one sub at a time. The industry loves to talk about transparency. Telcos love talking about consumer choice, and they certainly love talking about no lock-in contracts. And oh boy, do they love that part. Yet this sneaky 30-day trap effectively acts as a hidden exit fee. That discount you get in the first 6 months, well, that's just your exit fee. Nothing is free. And the real kicker? Some of these same providers advertise no cancellation fees, which, yes, technically correct, but you're still paying them for a month after you leave. So what exactly are we calling that payment then? A donation? Now, I want to be clear, not every provider does this. There are RSPs out there who cancel on the day of transfer and stop billing immediately. It can be done. It is already being done, which proves it's not operationally required. That's a policy choice. And if you're watching this and you're currently with one of these providers, I'm not saying panic cancel. I'm just saying be aware. If you switch, time it properly, screenshot everything, watch that final invoice like a hawk, and if you do get charged after disconnection, raise a complaint. First with the provider, of course, then with the TIO, and if enough of these stack up, the ACCC absolutely will take a look. And honestly, it's long overdue. Internet is not a luxury anymore. It's a utility. You don't get charged an extra month after you stop getting electricity. You don't get charged an extra month after your water is disconnected. So why is broadband still playing by these cowboy rules? Again, let's be clear, this is not about hating on one provider. This is about an industry practice that has quietly survived far too long than it should have. And if nothing else, I want you to walk away from this knowing one thing. If your internet is no longer being supplied, you should not be paying for it. As always, links in the description for the ACCC guidance and of course to the other references. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next one. Bye.